Let's get more with political scientist and senior fellow at the UCLA Burkle Centre for International Relations, Benjamin Radd. He joins us live from Los Angeles now. Benjamin, thanks for your time on Sky News today. Donald Trump telling reporters on his touchdown in Florida earlier that he was about to receive a new intelligence briefing on exactly how many Iranians are being killed in demonstrations there. How much, whatever he hears in that briefing, will inform his decision-making?
I'm pretty convinced the president has already made up his mind, or at least the National Security Cabinet has decided whether or not to pursue any action to weaken the Iranian government's ability to harm protesters. I think that decision was probably made a day or so ago. And now the question is what the next steps will be, whether it'll be a kinetic strike of some sort, a cyber attack, some sort of an economic pressure applied. Additionally, let's say sanctions, or finding out a way to curtail Iran's export of oil, which is still happening at a pretty rapid pace despite all the international sanctions that are in place already.
What do you think his preferred option might be, and what does he have to weigh up when deciding what action to take?
Well, whatever action has to minimize Iran's ability not just to retaliate, but the fact that they will retaliate. So the United States needs to move its carrier strike force into the Gulf as a deterrent to stop any Iranian defenses or counteractions against U.S. personnel, U.S. Equipment, U.S. bases, U.S. allies in the region. So there's that factor to consider. I don't think that the Iranians will measure necessarily their response either way. They're going to see any U.S. involvement, whether it's military or otherwise, to be an act of aggression, and will respond however they're going to. What the president has to weigh is how effective will whatever option he chooses be. Will it succeed in providing immediate support and relief to the protesters? Will it help reduce the killing? Will it weaken Iran's security apparatus that is causing most of the brutality that we see? So those are the things we'll be looking for.
The White House has sounded very proud of what it achieved in Venezuela. Has that emboldened Donald Trump?
It's emboldened him in the sense that he's been able to essentially remove a head of state with impunity. When we saw some protestation from around the world, but nothing serious, nothing done at the UN, not a whole lot of pushback here domestically in the United States from members of the opposition party in Congress. I mean, there's definitely been some voices raised about whether or not this is consistent with international law. But at the end of the day, the president has expanded his executive authority to conduct foreign policy and operations of this sort without any hindrance from the other branches of government. So definitely that is emboldening.
And ultimately, how easy is it to tell if this current uprising in Iran is any different to previous ones we've seen that have been very severely dealt with?
One of the things we want to look for, and this echoes what we saw back in 1979 with the initial Islamic Revolution, is defections within the security forces. Anybody breaking away, we start to see members of those security forces, whether it's the Basij, the IRGC, other elements. Do they have second thoughts about what they're doing and about what they're seeing? Are they going to be concerned about their own security and what happens afterwards, whether the regime stays or doesn't? Do they start to sympathize with the protesters? Do they get disillusioned with what they're being asked to do? Does the killing and the brutality start to impact them psychologically? If we start to see people breaking away from their roles, and also the leadership structure within the security forces as well, then we can say, okay, the government not only has lost the legitimacy and credibility, but now is losing the support from within its own ranks to carry out these acts.
Okay, really interesting stuff. Benjamin Radd, appreciate your time here on Sky News this morning. That's Benjamin Radd, political scientist and senior fellow at the UCLA. Thanks, Benjamin.